Yes, my friend. So, what is the topic for the discussion? You said
Oh,
we are talking about it. Mm.
yeah. I mean, we were talking about it, and I think we stumbled upon spirituality. And it is
Okay,
interesting to hear your thoughts on spirituality, especially from, uh, I mean, I want to keep it to like a business setting. And why is it important, maybe in your ideas, or why is it important for you first?
Mm.
And your journey with spirituality. And then I will also chime in with my journey with spirituality and what it means and why it can be useful in a leadership context.
Hmm. It's a loaded topic, and we are doing
Ah.
this pronto. So, let's see. See, if I go back to my childhood, I think in some way I was always spiritual.
Mhm.
When I say spiritual, I used to go to church because the family used to go to church every Sunday as part of Sunday school, catechism, as they call it. Um, but beyond that, I thought there was this constant search for truth, if you may. At that time, probably it was very abstract, but you're constantly thinking about why certain things are a certain way. Um, like, for example, if a lot of biblical stories, now we are slightly getting into religion, but for example, right, uh, the church from the very beginning has always been against the idea of their truths being exposed as not true. Like, for example, when Copernicus discovered, came up with this realization that the earth is indeed revolving around the sun, and that earth is not the center, sun is the center of the
Mm.
solar. That was opposed by church because that is not how the planets and other things was depicted by theologians, biblical
Mm.
specialists, etc., right, or artists, and so on and so forth. Even till date, dogmas are still being exposed, or
Mhm.
rather, science is catching up with real life. I'm sorry, I'm getting a call. I'm just going to decline that. Science is catching up with stories that we told ourselves,
Mm.
right? So I remember a time when I was probably 8 or 9 years old, when I used to ask my mother, "Mom, I can see on Discovery Channel that evolution, we evolved from other creatures. I mean, our ancestors were uh, uh, primates, monkeys, and how can it be that Adam and
Mm.
Eve were the first people on Earth?" Uh, but I mean, like, see, my mom is a very uh, tier 2 town, tier 3 town mom who's very religious, who loves her kids. So all she had to say was, "See, I don't want to argue with you, but it is what it is.
Mhm. Mhm.
I will." So she's a believer, right? And
Mhm.
without
Mhm.
questioning,
Mhm.
um, sort of a blind belief in a way, but for the good, right? Like, she
Mm.
finds solace in
Mhm.
that. So my point is, I used to question these things when I was young, and
Mm.
that was an attempt to find out the truth. It was not to rebel for the sake of rebelling.
Mm.
Uh, so for me, spirituality is all that. I mean, like, your quest to one's quest to find their own truth, and that could
Mm.
be in a professional setting, that could be in a personal setting,
Mm.
um, that could be with regard to your passion projects, whatever it is, right? Or it could be about your religion, it could be
Mm.
about anything, right? But with regards to, see, there are only a few fundamental truths,
Mm.
right? When it comes to business, at a fundamental level, the layer zero is always people. right? Without people, there are no businesses. Businesses are just constructs in our head and on a bunch of paper and in digital media, right? That is what a business is. It's a bunch of people
Mhm.
coming together to do something, right? In
Mhm.
the process, make money is what a business is. Um, so, in that context, I think there are only a few fundamental truths. You should be willing to um, come up with an idea and put that idea in place in the real world, and you should bring people together to kind of get that business done. uh, these are all very fundamental aspects which comes to kind of, when you abstract that, you might talk about things like execution, someone to kind of operate the business, someone to someone who's hardworking, someone who is there are these traits that are important in a business. And I believe my and different people have their own, they might not call it an ideology, but there is a worldview that is different for different people, and that's perfectly fine. That's how it should be. There should be diversity in how people think about life, uh, and everything else in general. Similarly, my worldview is towards, when it comes to work, and when it comes to uh, my search for truth, I feel it is helping people manifest their best self, right? That angle of business, that part of business is, like, for example, I'll give you a concrete example. If I am running an organization, uh,
Mhm.
making money is great. I like to make money, and I think money is a means to a lot of ends, right? In that way, I'm a very anti, oh, money is the root cause of all evil kind of a person. I think there should be abundance, and when there is abundance, people can go out and do other things rather than sit around and think about destructive
Mhm.
stuff
Mhm.
in any field of life. um, I think money is a necessity, but beyond all that, what I enjoy doing is working with people around me and helping them deliver the best
Mhm.
results. Or the other more appropriate way to describe that is help manifest their best self. And that does not mean making the most amount of money necessarily. I mean, not just that. I mean, there are other aspects to it. So,
Mhm.
with regard to work, I think that would be my driving philosophy, right? Do good by people. And I
Got it.
believe if that is done well, and it is not about being nice to people. There is a
Mhm.
distinction there. It's not about being nice to people, but it's about being, you know, the world today places a lot of importance on being nice. We should not offend
Mhm.
anyone. That is not the, I don't think that is not my point.
Mhm.
It's about doing things that are right by people. Right could be a hard thing also.
Mhm.
Uh, like letting go someone, for example, right? You have
Mhm.
to do what you have to do, but you should be true to, I want to be true to that. I should be right by people and not being too greedy, uh, and possibly build a community. So that's how I look at business. And that's,
Mhm.
yeah, I kind of went on a ramble there and I
No,
spoke
no,
about.
I think it makes sense because those are like your foundational ideas of what spirituality means, right?
For sure.
That's what you're
Yeah.
saying. So you're
Yeah, in
saying
work, in business, that is.
in businesses, this constant need for uh, like creating ideas, whatever, bringing people together. That was one thing you said. You said about yeah, not being nice or like being true to yourself is what
Being
I
true to
take.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think from that, what I hear is like you seem to touch on a lot of interesting subjects. Like how do we then uh, come up with uh, ideas
Mm.
which can help people from a diverse thought process, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but who may be in a different camp where religion might be the driving force versus secularism, or like being uh, non. I don't believe in all this. This work ethic which we have lived through. I think we have gone through is, oh no, all the religion and spirituality doesn't come into the business world. This is just about blah blah blah, tuck, 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 reply fast, fast, whatever. So this idea of detaching all of your personal identities
Mm-hmm.
and bringing yourself to work as though it is something entirely of its own.
Yeah.
And this is how we've been taught. I
Mm-hmm.
like my first job, for example. Yeah, they said park all your beliefs outside, just come in a meeting and see what you can help to drive the cost down or increase profits. And those are like the shareholder value, and these are the three main business metrics. So if you're not contributing to any of those three things,
Yeah.
it kind of means like you're not enough in the business world. So what do you tell to those people who believe in that form of business where
Yeah. See, it is. Here is what it is. I think a form of business, like let's say an old world business, right? That where it's like I can think of the Tatas, right? Like a very professionally run organization, majority owned by a non-profit trust, uh, with a family lineage, but they have brought in external talent where necessary. It is not a family business, but it's a social business, if I may, for-profit social business. Um, this would be very true, what you just mentioned, which is leave everything else outside, come with a certain work ethic, right? That's perfectly fine. There'll be a lot of people still who subscribe to that uh, school of business, and that's great. It's creating a lot of value for the stakeholders, which includes the shareholders and the society, and these are great, right? But at the same time, um, I think there is a kind of business. There are these businesses across the world, right, which are purely profit oriented, profit from a monetary standpoint for the shareholders, right? I don't associate them myself with them, because I think businesses should be holistic. If you're polluting, you should be responsible for that pollution, right?
Mhm,
And there's a lot of crony capitalism that happens where businesses become allies with the government, and that is not wrong. I mean,
mhm,
allies in the government for their own shareholder profit and not for
mhm,
the
mhm,
larger good. Some of these businesses are doing a lot of work outside of the business, but my feeling is goodness should be a foundation of any business. Goodness could be abundance in wealth, and uh, you know abundance in happiness index, or like the well-being of people involved in the business, whatever it is, in multiple dimensions like that are there. Abundance of prosperity in the society, that is all of these different things, right? So there are those two camps, uh, but there are obviously a lot of businesses that take the middle road. They
mhm,
are not neither this they don't really have a ideology when it comes to, oh, this is how I'll run my business. It's wherever,
mhm,
uh, you know so, but my how what I would share today is, I think every businessman should think about this. What is their truths that they are going after, and is it benefiting the larger society, which includes everything. Like, we can't leave out the rest of the world, um, when it comes to the impact of what you're doing on this earth, and that
mhm,
holds true at the individual level as well. So uh, I think that's my take, right? I mean, in an ideal world, all businesses will be social businesses that also makes money.
mhm,
Mm. And some people might be rewarded disproportionately for the risk that they're taking, and that's how uh, life works. Survival of the fittest, that's evolutionary. At the same time, uh, business that is focused on the larger good. Could be abundance for the larger society. They're employing so many people that it helps the world in general. Some of those should be fundamental when it comes to why people set up businesses. I today live in India. I'll be in India, and Dubai is my base cities. But uh, in India, I think it's still a lot more work to be done at the base level. Like, a lot of things are getting better in the last 10 years. I think it has been fantastic growth. Once people achieve baseline uh, baseline prosperity, could be measured by GDP, which is about $2,600 in India. Uh, there is a lot more work to be done at a basic level just to start these businesses and create markets and things like that. But once that happens, I think businesses here also will go through that evolution where there is value placed on governance and uh, good sound financial practices and ecosystem to help this business. All of this will come in. Yeah, I think businesses should be inherently good is my how I would encapsulate that.
Yeah. So in terms of like spirituality and how how should leaders treat spirituality? Like how have you led with spirituality in your previous roles, and how are you going forward using spirituality, or using your understanding now?
Mm.
So how have you done it in the past? You've
My
been leading a lot of people,
sure,
and
sure. My serious trust with spirituality came about 10 years ago. Like I said, I used to do prayers, go to church, because not because I wanted to, but because it was
yeah,
asked
somebody else wanted to.
to pray. Yeah. But the first time I did of anything that is meaty, or rather, when it comes to spirituality, is do Vipassana. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Vipassana is a 10-day silent retreat where you're not supposed to
Mm-hmm.
talk to anyone else, where you're not supposed to make eye contact with anyone else. And you start your meditation at 4 in the morning. It goes
Mm-hmm.
on all the way till 10 in the night. So essentially, you are 16 hours of meditation a day. You're given breakfast at 6 a.m., lunch at uh, 12 or 11, and an evening snack, which also doubles up as dinner at 5 in the evening. Uh, that was my first experience, and very basic. They don't collect money
Mm-hmm.
for boarding or lodging. Right?
Yeah.
It's one of those surreal
Yeah.
organizations. It's done by the one that I went to is from the SK Goenka school,
SM Goenka.
school of
Yeah.
Vipassana. And see, I've done Vipassana twice now. I want to do my third one very soon, probably for a longer, like thinking a 15-day or a 30-day
Mhm.
silent retreat. Um,
So what happened in that first one? What happened in the
yeah, I
Vipassana?
was coming to that. So the one, see, we all know that when you meditate, when you focus on your breath or mantra or something like that, you will end up coming down, less thoughts, or even if there are thoughts, you are more aware of it. Uh, but I think what I was searching for was the why. Why does it work? And that's where I feel Buddha is one of those, Lord Buddha is one of those uh, very early ancient scientists who understood.
Hello. Think I've lost you. Uh-oh. Hello.
Yeah.
You were
I lost my network, but is this better? Is this clear?
Now it's better. So you were saying Buddha was one of the ancient scientists, and that's
Ancient
when I
scientists,
lost
yeah,
you.
one of the first scientists who came up with this theory or discovery that this is how we human beings function. So,
Mm-hmm.
if I were to distill the teachings of Buddha, that becomes like the bedrock of Vipassana, right,
Mm-hmm.
would be two. It stands on two pillars. One is what they call Jagruta. Uh, Jagruta is awareness. Number two is Samatha. Samatha is equanimity, right? So Buddha's realization was this after, inward inquiry for many years, that all of our actions, mental or physical, start with a thought,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a thought that is the beginning of all action or
Mm-hmm.
inaction. And that thought in turn, and which is till now, it's intellectually, everyone knows that, right? I mean, like intellectually, everyone, if you ask them why, they'll end up at, okay, I mean, we think and hence I am, right? Uh, that Rene Descartes uh,
Mm.
quote, what is that? I
Yeah.
think there I am.
Yeah. I
Is
think
that
therefore that I am.
uh,
Cogito ergo sum.
Forgito ego sum? What does that mean?
I think therefore I am.
Same. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cogito ergo sum. The same thing, right? I mean, that's well known. People have thought about this, have come up with this much later. But Buddha went one level deeper and he said, thoughts arise out of feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling is not a thought. A lot of times you cannot verbalize feelings. Just feel a certain
Mm-hmm.
way,
Yeah.
right?
And we
So
we
it's not
sometimes
just,
misattribute feelings. So like we might be feeling hungry, but then we might be thinking we are angry. And
angry.
so likewise, so like, yeah, we misattribute a lot of feelings.
No, for sure. I mean, everything starts with a feeling, right? I Some people say things like, I woke up on the right side of the bed. What they try to say there is, I felt so good, but I can't. It's not just good; it's something very specific, but I can't explain what that feeling is. So Buddha said, thoughts arise out of feelings,
Mm-hmm.
right? He didn't stop there. He went one level deeper, and he said, these feelings arise out of sensations in the body,
Mm-hmm.
which takes us into the realms of science. We
Mm-hmm.
all know that we are a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of atoms stuck together for various reasons,
Correct.
and a lot of them for no reason at all, right?
Yeah.
And at the fundamental level of your human physiology and anatomy, we are just a bunch of particles that are firing some sort of electricity at each other or touching each other and creating electricity, or that is what it is at the ground level. So that's why I said, all of these things about atoms and science of today, that modern science has advanced so much in the last 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years, but there were people who were living 2000 years back. This is not just a statement that he made, right? It's a truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is truth to this whole thing, that everything starts with the sensation in the body.
Mm-hmm.
So how it goes is, as long as you are able to, the if you become really good at Vipassana, right, as a
Mm-hmm.
science, as an art form and a practice, what happens is you are aware of every single sensation in your body. You'll get there. That
Mm-hmm.
is what probably Buddha got, where he achieved nirvana. That you are completely authentic. You are at peace. You are there. with complete awareness, Jagruta,
Mhm.
and the other side with complete equanimity. I'm not
Mhm.
resisting, I'm just living.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? So that is the truth that I discovered, not my truth, universal truth, but discovered by Buddha
Mhm.
long, long back. Maybe many other people discovered it and they just died
Yeah.
without other people around them. Like there is a possibility, but Buddha is one of those people. I don't think anyone refutes the idea of existence of this entity, person called Buddha. At some point,
Mhm.
someone like his name might have been different, the story might have been different, it might have gotten obfuscated or
Yeah.
corrupted in the way. But no one refutes the idea that Buddha was a real guy. You might not have evidence like his bones or his DNA and things like that. But same for Jesus. I don't
Mhm.
think there is, because this was historical Bible. A lot of mumbo jumbo is written on the Bible. A lot of stories are. Let's put it that way. Right? I mean, mumbo jumbo is probably a very rude way to put it. A lot of stories are written in Bible. Uh, but some stories people don't refute. Like, did a person called Jesus exist? Because there is historical proof that these people, the religion spread in these areas, and it was not someone's, um, uh, like someone did not discover Jesus. It's something that I'm,
Mhm.
sorry, someone did not invent this character called Jesus. It's something that I'm,
Mhm.
same way that I'm clear about or sure about. Uh,
Mhm.
there was this, not this one person from whom it all emerged. People might have glorified him, made him like a god and things like that, but there was someone, whose stories people took and spread it far and wide. So in that sense, I think these are historical uh, stories, many of them truths. And someone discovered this 2,000 years back, is something that blows my mind every single time that I think about, right? Uh, so, yeah, I mean, like, see, if you ask me today, I think I would tell that these are the two things that I'm striving towards in my life at the fundamental level. It is awareness and equanimity.
Mhm.
Whatever happens, I should be aware. I should not be like living in a dreamland. I should be doing something. A lot of times it means acting, being
Mhm.
true to yourself and your people. Uh,
Yeah.
because being true to people is important for me. It might not
Mhm.
be important for and someone else that being true to people is, and being equanimous. Whatever happens, can I try to be a little less reactive or perturbed or excessively joyous about something, right? Like, can I be present in that phase or in that timeline or in that instance in time and be
Mhm.
completely okay with it? So that is my ultimate truth, if you ask me now, truth that I'm seeking.
Oh, again,
And I
you're
would,
breaking off. Hold on.
yeah,
Can you come back again?
yeah,
Do that again.
yeah. I was trying to say this, right? The ultimate truth that I'm seeking is,
Oh no, wait. It's gone. It's gone. Your full internet boy. Hello.
yeah, you know what? The
Hello.
network here realized, yeah, I can hear you well. Uh, the network here, I realized, completely sucks. So, so I'm gonna I'm gonna connect to my hotspot on my phone. Let's see if that is better.
Damn, you were in a flow, say. Like that's what I wanted to. So Jagrada and Samata. Well,
Jagrata.
well said. I think that is a one. Those are just yeah. And you were saying about the stories and how, say, for example, Jesus, the story of Jesus, etc., came over the years. it's kind of similar, isn't it? It's like it's a case of being peaceful, being living with equanimity, living with all that. So what did you learn
Yeah,
from, what
that's
did
a
you
very
learn
similar for sure.
from the Vipassana? What was the
About
most
myself.
difficult situation in the Vipassana retreat? What was the most difficult thing you
Yeah.
faced in the Vipassana retreat?
Yes. What
Oh,
happens
wait,
is
yeah.
this,
I
right?
think,
You
hold on. I think this is this full cut down.
reverse. Okay. Let me change to another network then.
This is fascinating. Hello.
Mhm. Yeah. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah. Cool. So should I?
Uh,
What
so, question.
question is, yeah.
So, I mean, you mentioned a lot about the goats, the greatest of all times, like Buddha,
Yeah.
Jesus, are them the goats. Uh, but what does it mean for you? Like, what did you expect? What is the most difficult thing you had to
Okay.
experience
Two
or go
different questions.
through?
So yeah. So two questions. First question is, what is the most difficult thing during Vipassana?
Hmm.
I'll talk about the first Vipassana and the second Vipassana as well. Uh, and what did I learn for myself about myself? Let's put it that way. Is that cool?
Hmm. Yeah, let's do it.
See, for the uninitiated, for someone who has not done Vipassana, this is how Vipassana looks like. Usually, these are retreat centers which are not very luxurious. I mean, it is not luxurious at all. It's probably the antithesis of luxury. It will
Mm.
be in some.
Yeah.
There are good Vipassana centers as well, which can be quite scenic outside. Like I know that there is one in Kathmandu, there is one in Nagarjuna Sagar, which is by a lake of a dam. These are beautiful places, but most Vipassana centers that are close to you would end up being in these obscure villages. The first one that I went to, I remember, was in this place called Nizamabad in Hyderabad, near Hyderabad in the state of Telangana. Very small town, and it was in a village outside of Nizamabad. And this was like a small building that was donated by someone to run these Vipassana centers. And the beautiful thing about Vipassana is both lodging and boarding are free. That means your
Hmm.
stay and food is taken care of, and you don't need to pay for this. In fact, you don't need to pay for anything. So you register, and there are certain number of slots for each group. Each group runs for 10 days minimum. Uh, and there are about 20 to 30 people in each group. And you sign up, and they'll ask you a few questions. I think, for our own good, like, do you smoke? Do you drink? Is there anything that you're addicted
Yeah.
to? Because
Yeah. Got to be careful.
you cannot go there and drink. And
Yeah.
there is a certain uh, way in which these days are lived, that you just cannot be doing something else and trying this out. You should be completely committed. The 10 days you're not going to be drinking, smoking. You cannot get food from outside. It's a very same simple fare that is offered to everyone, which is very, very simple and healthy. Lots of vegetables, uh, some fruits, grains, basic stuff. So a typical day in Vipassana starts like this. You're oriented the previous night and you sleep, and you're asked to wake up at 4. Waking up is voluntary, but there'll be people outside who will wake you up, which is involuntary. Uh,
Hmm.
so you have to wake up at 4 and go to a big hall where all of the group is sitting, and there is a teacher or a guru who's sitting in front, who's like your guide through this program. And most of the main instructions are given by S.N. Goenka himself. S.N. Goenka passed away. He was the founder of the Vipassana, S.N. Goenka School of Vipassana, which is a non-profit organization that is across the world in all possible countries,
Yeah.
especially in the West. S.N. Goenka's Vipassanas are available. But this person who's the guru is sitting in front of you is a person who has learned Vipassana before and has been trained to solve others' questions if they arise.
Mhm.
You're not supposed to be speaking to anyone else except for the guru during the duration of this program. You're not
Mhm.
supposed to be making contact. You'll be given a simple mattress, a mat, and a thin mattress and a pillow. Uh, and you need to just start meditating at 4. You get a break at 6. Again, you start at 7. You get a break at 12. Again, you start at 1. You get a break at 5. Again, you start at 6. You get a break at. You get to retire for the day. So the first few days are the most difficult because most of us, I'm assuming most of the people who are listening to this conversation are people who have some sort of a occupation and they are preoccupied with a bunch of things. We are all like, we have to go to work, we have to take care of family, we have to meet friends, we have to make a living and make the best of it. So we are all busy with our lives. It's
Mhm.
very difficult. It was very difficult for me to sit quiet, sit still for forget the whole of 16 hours in the first day. Not even I could not sit still for 2 minutes. Can you believe that?
Mm.
Because I was not
Mhm.
like a regular meditator and all that before I went to Vipassana. That I think
Yeah.
that could be the most difficult part in the meditation. The first 2 or 3 days, it can one can it can get to you like in a way
Mm.
that very few other things does. So that's where the beauty of Vipassana is all
So
also.
what did you do? Like, what did you do after 2 minutes? If you are not able to sit still, you just
Yeah, so
moved around.
then I need to. So that is where the guide is there. So the guide talks to you about what will happen to you physically, mentally, and there are simple instructions to kind of get you into the. When you start becoming uncomfortable, you started practicing Vipassana. So that's the first step. You need to get uncomfortable. The
Mhm.
first instruction is uh, you will realize that you will get distracted.
Mhm.
And when you do realize that you are distracted, be aware of that.
Mm.
That is the first step. So like this, it builds on. The instruction kind of builds on. You keep doing this again and again. So then you're asked to gently bring your awareness back to your breath. Or in
Mm.
fact, I missed a bunch of things. Maybe I'm not trained enough to speak about this. uh,
No,
First,
I
you are
don't think
asked.
so. I think you are trained enough because
Yeah,
you
I mean, like
already
that.
did it. You did it. So
No, but training is a different thing, right? There is probably a certain way one needs to be introduced, and that's one of the
yeah,
reasons why these
probably. Yeah.
Vipassana centers are all non-profit.
Mhm.
They sustain, they operate by donations,
Mhm.
voluntary
Mhm.
donations. They don't even ask for
Yeah.
the donation. Voluntary donations of people who already done Vipassana. They don't take
Correct.
donations from people who have not done Vipassana. So very, very, and it has become a huge movement. Yeah, I mean, Vipassana. If you are someone,
Yeah.
if people are, I mean, people who are listening into this conversation, people are someone who's interested in some serious internal inquiry, they
Mhm.
should um, do Vipassana, and we can
Mhm.
put the website and other details of Vipassana. It's called dhamma.org,
Yeah.
dhamma.org. Maybe we can put it in notes
Yeah.
if people request or in comments. They just need to sign up. It doesn't cost a penny, and you will live and eat in a retreat center uh, for 10 days. Uh, and
Interesting.
so, yeah. But I didn't answer your second question, which was what was my personal learning? I think my
Mm.
personal learning was, I think the first thing was the most fundamental, right? That was the first time probably that I started becoming a lot more aware of my own thoughts.
Mm.
Get what I'm saying? I used to meditate on and off, but not a meditator by any means
Mm.
at that point. The first time I started paying attention, but to my thoughts,
Mm.
first time I realized that, oh my God, I mean, what am I doing to myself? So much negativity. Why am I this should have been better. Oh man, you're lazy and all of that shit. I did
This
not
is funny
realize.
because like when you start to meditate, you start to criticize your meditation, which is the weirdest thing. Like meditation is trying to
I
help
mean,
you, and you're like, oh,
it's
I am not meditating right. Like the other
all
person
of
who's
that.
sitting
Right,
there,
right. Self
that
criticism.
person is doing so much better. Look at that person just sitting, but that person is thinking the same about you. Like, it
All the
is
time, all
so
the time. I
funny.
think people unobserved are always self-critical, or they are not. I mean,
Mm,
it's like this classic Schrodinger's cat
mm,
situation.
mm.
So people are both at the same time. It always depends on the observer, right?
Correct. That is amazing. That's an insight. It is
Yeah.
based on the observer. What you observe is what
Yeah,
you
yeah. That
perceive.
is Schrodinger's experiment also, right? Like there is a
Mm,
cat inside a box,
yeah,
and there is a nuclear device that
yeah,
will let out certain radiation that will kill the cat the instant that you open the box. So is the cat alive or dead?
yeah,
Could be
yeah.
dead
It
inside.
comes up. Yeah, it's a quantum entangled,
Quantum
quantum
entanglement, quantum physics, yes.
superposition states. So it's a interesting. Like so many people have now started to use quantum healing and things like a lot of stuff there, but yeah, you're right. I think it's in the eye of it's in the observer. So like if I believe that certain things I see is a certain way, then that is true for me. And the same way, if I believe that these things which are happening to me are negative or not good for me, then I believe it. So we are conditioned, we are so set in the ways. And again, coming back to like the business and like workplace, we have so many conditions which we have layered on top of each other.
Yeah.
And like with Vipassana and like I would even say before we go into Vipassana, I think people just need to sit down 2 minutes and just watch your breath for like 2 minutes, see what happens.
I think, yeah.
And then think about next step is yeah, okay, this is we don't even take that time. Like how when was the last time you just sat there and just noticed your breath? Not you, like I'm just saying people. So yeah, so for me also, I think from what I'm hearing is Vipassana, spirituality. I am a big mindfulness practitioner, and I believe
I know you
mindfulness
are
has.
doing a fantastic
Uh,
job with your content, and you also happen to be my mindfulness coach.
Thank you, appreciate that,
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. But the point I'm
Yeah.
trying to say is like mindfulness. It's all linked. They're all linked. Everybody has been doing it for
Mm.
years and years. Nobody has been paying attention, and
Mm.
it is just some like it's simple practices which you can help with everything. Like I use mindfulness in the gym. I use mindfulness in my workouts. I use mindfulness when I'm in my relationships. I use mindfulness when I'm eating. I use mindfulness everywhere. And not
Mm.
and I will say that I am not fully mindful all the time also.
For
So
sure.
it is the attitudes. It's like the cultivating this attitude. You said awareness, which is very crucial. You're noticing your awareness, you're noticing your mind. And from my perspective, I think mindfulness and spirituality go hand in hand and also very important in the business world going forward. Uh, I think it's a I think it's a superpower we can layer on to already amazing people who do amazing work. Imagine if they were a bit more aware. Like they'll just it is so people ask me like, oh, what is the benefit of mindfulness in business? And I'm saying if you have more aware, engaged, less stress, more equanimous, more understanding, more compassionate people in your business, 100% you'll thrive. There's no doubt. Like as
Completely agree.
opposed as opposed to if you have people stressed, if you have people less compassionate, getting each other's throat, if you have people who are overworked, underpaid, etc., like all of that, and you still have a thriving company, That means, imagine if they were all not happy, they were all equanimous. Imagine all of them were like, wow, this is a nice place to work. Imagine how much more productive this company will become. So yeah, that is my like
Also, yeah, I mean, fantastic
vision.
point. To add to the last point of equanimity, oh, this just be nice. I mean, everything is nice. There are always not so nice things happening in the world,
Mhm.
because that's the nature of the world, nature of life.
Yeah.
Everything is not fair. So, ability to be equanimous, completely okay, even when things are not going well,
Mm. Mhm. True.
that is kind of, you can lump all of this into the other two things that you mentioned: awareness and equanimity. When things are okay, people are getting at each other's throat. But then there is a lot more that happens in life which is not always nice: disease, not having money, poverty, bad relationships, and the ability to be okay even when things are, the chips are down,
Mhm.
when you are staring down at the doldrums, you are at the bottom. I think that is such a superpower in
Mhm.
business.
So true.
People, business circles will call it resilience,
Mhm.
ability to grind, ability to take rejection. Um, yeah, I mean, I think all of those are abilities that can be cultivated. So
True.
I think thanks to people like you who are in a profession of helping people become aware of these things
Yeah.
and either react or not react to these things. I mean, that's at the end of the day, or at least you're guiding people on that journey of self discovery of these things for themselves. It's fantastic. I mean, it's great to be associated with you.
No worries. I mean, it's fascinating to have this conversation. I think we've done like this. We've done enough for today. I think we've
For today, for sure.
barely,
We should
barely, we
barely,
barely
yeah.
scratched the surface. I think this was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
first
I mean, like,
episode. I think we should do this regularly. I think it'll be
we
fantastic.
should do this.
We
It's
can
really fun.
come
I think I
each week.
enjoyed.
We should come and
So
we should
that
come
was
with the
episode
topic.
number one.
Huh?
Well done. That was episode number one. Well done.